Established quorum, myself, Rachel Trevino, President, Brian Acosta, Vice President, Lucy Delgado, Secretary, Rick Garza, Trustee, Eddie Howe Jr., Trustee, Oscar Hernandez, Trustee, and Pete Martinez, Trustee. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Trustee Brian Acosta, and invocation by Trustee Rick Garza.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we seek your blessings and support in all the decisions we make on behalf of Mercedes ISD. May we reach our decisions prompted by a desire to serve. Grant us wisdom and understanding of our school, our community, and ourselves. Watch over the children and staff of the school district so that it may flourish according to your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Next, we have open forum, public comment, and we do have,
Yes, Ms. Yolanda Molina,
okay,
discussing agenda item A8.
okay. The next item on the agenda is open forum or public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures of handling public comment. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public who wish to address an agenda item to be considered by the board on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wants to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the agenda item they want to discuss. Each public comment speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to address the board. However, any public testimony speaker who requires a translator will receive up to 10 minutes to address the board. The public comment portion of the meeting will allow all speakers who have signed up for before the start of the meeting to address the board regarding an item on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. Last, we ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own child. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process. District policy, DGBA, has been established for addressing employee complaints. Policy F and G is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and policy GF addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration offices. Thank you. Our first speaker is?
Ms. Yolanda Molina.
Ms. Yolanda Molina.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. My name is Yolanda Molina, and I have a very grave concern because it's about our community, our people that have supported and given to the district for years and years and years. They did not come in yesterday. They have been loyal. They have taken a beating, not literally, but taken a beating throughout the years because, you know, whatever they need to do, whatever they're assigned to do, they don't have the courtesy of saying, no, I don't want to do that. And so I come to you because those of you that represent us, that represent Mercedes and work here for Mercedes, representing the community, should keep an eye on some of the things that are happening. I understand there's going to be a group of people that are going to be going home. I understand that they've been asked to apply again. I know there was a school district that was running out of funds and did not have the monies to pay everybody. So everybody, classroom teachers and everybody, federal program directors, you name it, they had to apply again. That I understand is not happening in Mercedes. It's only a group of people. Those people have been loyal. They have been with the district for 20-something years, and they have brought in a lot of monies into this district. And I think that as human beings, we do have a responsibility, even though we're not the employment agency, we understand that, but sometimes we act like we are. Because everybody in Mercedes knows it's a very small community. We know who comes in and who leaves. And when we're hiring more people from the outside instead of from the community, and I'm sure they're qualified. But those people that live here, they spend their money here. They have taken care of your children, your grandchildren, your jobs. They have made sure that some people have a very good paying job. And so I am hoping that some of you will look at this, because we cannot have one person saying, we've looked at the budget and we've got to let somebody go. We have board members elected by the community. This needs to be looked at very deeply and very hard. And so I wish you all well. I wish you all well, but let's remember that you do represent the community. And let's be loyal for those that have been loyal. And so hopefully, nobody will be retaliated, because if somebody knows about retaliation, having gone through it, I know firsthand. I know. And I learned to write up people. I learned to send letters to them, even from the top. Because we are not here for anybody to play with us. We're all that respect. We took care of your kids. So I wish you the best. And I hope that you look again at what is being done. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else, Ms. Martin? Okay. Next on the agenda, we have Superintendent's Report. Ms. Mendiola.
Madam President, members of the board, members of a community, and staff from Mercedes ISD, this evening we have a special presentation of our band students, and I believe we have Mr. Ruben Cortez Jr. in the audience. Is Mr. Cortez here at this time? Here he is. Mr. Cortez is our District 2 representative for the Texas State Board of Education, and he would like to take a few moments to say some words for our band students who made it to the state level. Thank you for being here with us this evening, Mr. Cortez.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here. Ms. Mendiola, Madam President, members of the board. And really, it's just to congratulate you guys. I want to take the opportunity to recognize the Mercedes Independent School District's exceptional music program. For those of you that know or don't know, it earned the National Association of Music Merchants Foundation's Best Communities in Music Education designation for the third time. And that's something that, in times like this, you guys as a board and as an administration, there's going to be a lot of challenges that you're going to have to deal with in this coming year as a result of this pandemic. And the one thing that we do know and studies show is that the arts, the fine arts, they lead to good academic attainment, right, and good student outcomes. And so for you guys to have been recognized not once, not twice, but 3 times, it really just emphasizes the point that you guys are doing a phenomenal job as it comes to your fine arts programs here. The Best Communities for Music Education is a signature program of NAM Foundation that was founded in 2006 that recognizes and celebrates school districts for their support and commitment to music education and their efforts to ensure access to students, for all students, as part of a well-rounded education. Francis Clark, recognized as one of the foremost authorities in music education, said, there is music in every child. The teacher's job is to nurture it. You guys have won this recognition 3 years, so obviously your teachers are nurturing this talent in each of your students. So I want to just give a big thank you and a praise to all the faculty that's providing Mercedes students with the opportunity to express themselves through music and being able to highlight and showcase their abilities. And so I'd like to present this special commendation to, I guess,
We have our band one of our band directors, Mr. McKinney, who's our fine arts director, couldn't be here this evening, but we do have Mr. Rivas, who is going to accept the award, and if you can come to the front. And Mr. Cortez, thank you for those kind words, and a round of applause. We also have some students here with us.
Sure, yeah. Well, I always enjoy my time in Tiger Country. I have a Tiger hoodie, but I didn't think it wouldn't be something I should have brought to a board meeting. So I didn't. So this is by the State Board of Education. It's a special commendation presented to the Mercedes Independent School District. Best Communities for Music Education, National Association of Music Merchants Foundation, given this 15th day of June, 2021, Austin, Texas, signed by Ruben Cortez, your member of the Board of Education. I'll give that to you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Rivas, if you'd like to remain at the podium, and we're going to go ahead and have the students recognized for their medals accomplished at the state level as well.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Mrs. Mendiola, and community members. On behalf of Mr. McKinney, I'd like to recognize the orchestra and band students who earned a medal at the UIL State Solo Virtual Contest. The students qualified by earning a superior rating, Division I, on their memorized Class 1 solo at the Region UIL Solo Contest this past February. In the middle of May, the students' performance was recorded and submitted to the State UIL Contest, where they were judged by college music professors. Senior Ramsey Ramirez earned the state's gold medal for his superior rated performance on vibraphone. Freshman Noah Diaz earned the state's silver medal for his excellent rating performing on marimba. Sophomore Elena Garcia earned the state's silver medal for her excellent rating performing on violin. Sophomore Rudy Pedraza earned the state's silver medal for his excellent rating performing on snare drum. And junior Alan Trevino earned the state silver medal for his excellent rating performing on oboe. Congratulations to all the students.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rivas, and congratulations to our students.
Do we have any board members that would like to say something to our students?
Sure, yes. First of all, students, to the young men that are here today, congratulations on this outstanding recognition. Congratulations to your parents. This wasn't an easy year, and I know how some just felt like giving up. So I'm glad you didn't give up. I'm glad you brought this recognition and to Mercedes ISD. I'm a very proud parent of band and orchestra, and I know I know it takes a lot, and I'm so proud that I've seen from middle school to high school, and I would always tell my kids, I wish you could see yourselves through our eyes, because you are so impressive. You're very talented. So keep on doing what you're doing, and thank you, directors, for everything that you do. You guys really, they really follow your lead. You're a very good example for them. So thank you so much.
Anybody else? No? I also would like to congratulate all the students, the band directors, especially the parents. I know that it's hard to get up early in the morning and get them going, and you all practice out in the heat and everything else. Congratulations. Despite of everything that we've gone through, you have excelled, and I congratulate you, parents, students, directors. Congratulations.
Madam Chair. If I may, see if this is on. I just also would like to echo what our fellow trustees have said. I know that it was a difficult year, and it makes it difficult for the students to participate in these activities. Not only that, they do well in academics in order to be able to qualify to participate in these events. And like Mr. Cortez says, it's a part of a well-rounded education. And I want to thank all those involved in helping these students achieve their goals and making them successful at the state level. So thank you for all your efforts, parents for helping them and in supporting your students, and the directors as well for contributing their time and effort to make sure they achieve those goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item, okay. Next on the superintendent's report, we have special recognition of the Mercedes ISD nurses. Ms. Mendiola.
Yes, Madam Chairman. As we know, this was a very difficult 14 months, and so we want to take some time to recognize our nurses who were in the front line, and I do have a few words I'd like to say. On behalf of Mercedes ISD and our Board of Trustees, we would like to recognize the Mercedes ISD school nurses and health aides for their outstanding work and bravery this school year. As frontline healthcare workers, they have selflessly worked every day, from phone calls at all hours of the day to medical emergencies, helping to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. On top of their regular nursing duties, without hesitation, our nurses helped by preparing equipment, PPE, nursing offices, isolation rooms for the new school year in order to prepare for students to return back to school in person safely. They conducted health screenings and temperature checks for students and staff. They conducted COVID-19 rapid tests for students and staff, including mass testing for staff when they returned back to work to ensure safety. They mitigated COVID-19 cases and concerns by making decisions on who should stay home and who should remain at school. They participated in COVID-19 vaccine clinics for students and staff, ensuring that at least 92% of all staff are vaccinated. They conducted health classes for students on hygiene and respiratory etiquette and much more. They are truly heroic. Additionally, MISD nurses have been recognized by the Hidalgo County Health Department for being the first district to provide a vaccine clinic for students and having the most students given the vaccinations. Nurses, please know that your compassion is appreciated, your dedication is admired, and your service to humanity makes a difference in the lives of others. May you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. We could not have done this without you. At this time, I will call your names, and nurses, if you can please come up and receive your plaque. We will start with Delia Quiroz, registered nurse. Is Miss Delia here tonight? No? Okay. Miss Vanessa Fuentes, registered nurse. Miss Fuentes. Miss Shirley Vogel, LVN. Rosaura Sierra, LVN. Gloria Galvan, LVN. Francis Villanueva, LVN. Irma Martinez, LVN. And Elizabeth Hernandez. And of course, Ms. Veronica Bustamante for being our head nurse and leading the charge for our district. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you, Ms. Vogel. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. And Ms. Bustamante, please don't go far because we have a very special recognition this evening, and you're not aware. Well, you are aware, but you're not aware that you were going to be recognized tonight. We have Ms. Carlin here with the Mercedes Chamber of Commerce. I nominated Ms. Veronica Bustamante as the Woman of the Year for Mercedes, and she was selected. So, Ms. Carlin, thank you for being here.
Good
and saying a
evening
few
y
words.
buenas tardes. Yes, it brings a lot of memories, especially with the nurses when I was student services. I do see one very familiar face and the rest of them are new. But yeah, I'm getting very emotional here. But let me tell you why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because as your representative at the Mercedes Chamber of Commerce, every year the Chamber of Commerce recognizes individuals in our community. The community is asked to submit nominations for Men of the Year, Woman of the Year, and Lifetime Person of the Year. And I am very pleased and very privileged to announce that the Woman of the Year is one of your very finest, very own person from the school district. And I have also another announcement to make. The chamber directors have 4 more categories to select, and we select the Business of the Year, Educator of the Year, Civic Leader of the Year, and Fine Arts. And this year, we have one person who's also, or was here with our district. So I'm going to start by announcing to you that the Woman of the Year is nada menos que Miss Veronica Bustamante. I read the description submitted by the nominee person, and it does not make justice. Ms. Bustamante, I would like to add, if I may, just a little bit more. Besides what was written on her nomination sheet, I have the privilege of working with Ms. Bustamante, being that I'm also one of our Lions in the Mercedes Lions Club. And Ms. Bustamante is always ready to assist when it comes to community help. This is above and beyond her call of duty as a nurse. She prepares the campuses when the Lions are ready to come in for vision screening. When we have donations of donating blankets, she steps in and helps us. So I can go on and on and on, but there's too many. So congratulations, and we are very, very happy to have you. And she will be our Woman of the Year 2021. She will be honored by the Chamber of Commerce on July the 1st. Due to the pandemic, we will have a slow-scale banquet, but she will be receiving her plaque at that time. And before we take a picture, I also would like to announce the Educator of the Year is Mr. Orlando Rodriguez. And I don't think thank you very much.
Does the board have any comments they'd like to share?
Yes. Right. Yes, ladies, congratulations on this recognition. I'm going to follow Ms. Vogel's lead by saying, you kick butt. I heard a term once, and I thought it just stuck with me, and it was grit and grace, and that is pretty much what you all have done. I know that there were days, there were long days, and it just felt like the sooner you got home, the sooner you were back. You were always receiving phone calls. There was always, you know, you just call after call. And guess you thought, you know, it would never end. But thank you so much for everything that you did for our students, for the community, for us as school board members as well. It's not, clearly you show that it's just not a job, it's your passion. And thank you so much again for all your hard work.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
I would just like to thank you all for answering the call. From a personal perspective, you know, as in my family, we dealt with the COVID, and I know that it was a constant conversation that we had with the nursing staff to make sure that we were okay and moving forward, and I really appreciate the support that you all gave us to make sure that we were going, you know, taking the necessary precautions to take care of the community. And I know that you all were challenged during this time with a lot of phone calls, so I just really do appreciate the effort. You went above and beyond the call of duty, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to say just a few words. Ladies, your passion for our students' health and safety is greatly appreciated every day. We noticed your compassion, dedication, kindness, your long hours, and your loyalty to our MISD family. You're always putting our kiddos first. It takes strong women like yourselves to make this work. You are a valued member of our MISD team and family. Thank you for being the amazing nurses that you are. Thank you so much, ladies.
Can we do a standing ovation to these ladies?
Next on the superintendent's report, Ms. Mendiola, continuity of services plan updated by Dr. Nancy Castillo. Ms. Mendiola.
Yes, Madam Chairman, we have Dr. Castillo who will be presenting on the continuity of services plan. This plan is a requirement as part of the ESSER 3 grant, so we would like to share that information with our school board and our community so that this plan is discussed in detail. Please ask questions as needed. This is a very important part of the return to in-person instruction beginning in August. So I'll go ahead and give the floor over to Dr. Castillo.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Trevino, Ms. Mendiola, Superintendent, Board of Trustees, and community. And I also want to echo all the words that were provided, kind words to our district nurses, and in particular because they are working 24/7 during this pandemic time that we went through, and we continue to go through, because part of the plan is also part of the nursing plan that we have in our return to instruction continuity of services plan. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. This plan, I think you have the wrong slide. Right there. Okay, so we have our return to plan. The introduction has information that is very critical for our community and also our Board of Trustees to know that these ESSER funds that we're going to receive, we need to tie it to our return to instruction continuity service plan. And the plan needs to address the academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs of all our students. And so we want to ensure that we are dedicated to provide the safe learning environment to meet the needs of all our students and ensure that all equitable experiences are provided to all our different types of learners. So key priorities that our head nurse, Ms. Veronica Bustamante, and I worked on, and alongside with the different stakeholders that you're going to find out who were a part of this plan, include public health safety, instructional continuity, maintaining workforce equity, innovation, and communication. So Mrs. Mendiola did meet with us and provided the 4 different areas that were going to be academics, facilities and improvement, technology, comprehensive service, and human resources with the different lead committees. Our kickoff meetings started actually on April 28th when the United States Department of Education started talking about the ESSER 3 plan. And I do want to let you know that MISD was the first in the Valley to start researching all this information. And all the information that we shared, Ms. Mendiola has shared with other superintendents in their meetings to let them know that we are on target to meet the plan. So we are most likely the first ones to have this plan completed. So on May the 11th, we did send an ESSER 3 MISD survey to all our faculty, community leaders to find out what was it that our needs were going to be for our district as far as the funds were going, as far as the funding allocations were. And this was also in alignment with federal programs and also our accountant, Delia Garcia, as well as Lisa Cantu, where we came together to roll out this survey. And so we received over 600 returns. And so they were very interesting to note that the teachers do want to have a safe return. They want to come back. Students 100%, almost 100%, I have to be honest, want to come back to school. They don't want to wear uniforms. They don't want to wear masks. They want to be with their friends. But we need to make sure we follow those CDC guidelines. So, and in essence, the state also says that we need to return to normal as possible, adhering to CDC guidelines. So on May 25th, that was a survey we sent out to teachers and school leaders. May 25th, we sent out a survey to our students, but this was done through the great efforts of our wonderful principals here at MISD. They actually returned almost 700 returns back, and so that was a very positive for us to be able to find what we needed to do. And you'll find out that math and reading was one of the biggest concerns the students had. They want to come back and they want to learn more math and reading. They felt that they were behind. On May 28th, we also rolled it out to our families, and the families' biggest concern is to come back to a safe environment. So our task force committee also had different things that had to be established. On the next slide, we had a timeline that we still have it up to date. We need to establish the bottom circle with the suitcase, establish health and safety protocols and procedures that all students and staff must comply with. Then we have worked with the finance department to expedite all the transactions as far as desk shields and things of that nature. Up at the top, communicate with the local health departments. So Ms. Bustamante is spearheading that area where she keeps in constant communication, and complete or assigned additional staff to complete the items under the subsections. And you'll see where the different items are coming in as far as additional staffing. And of course, daily we do report to the superintendent. We get really excited because there's a lot of progress being made. And we report to her that we're almost done with the plan. And I appreciate Ms. Bustamante staying up late at night with us and making sure, online that is, making sure that she's putting in her part and so we can complete it to be ready for this meeting. So instruction, now we have instruction information for our families, and the transition back is in person as normal as possible, following the CDC guidelines, the TEA, and the Governor of Texas. The instruction opens to all students 5 days a week. We will continue to nurture those relationships that have been established with all stakeholders, providing a safe, effective, and equitable learning environment for families, our students, and our employees. Nurse Bustamante, you're next. And now she will go ahead and talk to you about Section 2, maintaining health and safety, and I will finally complete it with continuity of services and all the different requirements from TEA.
Can we post?
Oh, it's not switching. I have a hard copy too, if you'd like one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We can start because the audience can see that one.
Okay, good. So, good evening, everyone. Again, Ms. Mendiola, board president, and board members. I'll be going over Section 2, which is maintaining the health and safety. So in order for us to ensure that we have a successful upcoming school year, we have to ensure that our students and our parents and staff feel safe. With that being said, we will continue to be, the health and the safety of the students and staff will continue to be our top priority. By doing that, we have mitigation strategies that will be in place. Number one, proper hygiene and cleaning. Hand sanitizers will be made available at the main entrance of every campus, in the classroom, in the cafeteria, and in all common areas throughout the campus. The next slide, please. The second, which is personal protective equipment. On May 18th, Governor Abbott issued an executive order stating that no entity can require people to wear a face mask. Therefore, Mercedes ISD will no longer require face coverings for students, faculty, staff, and visitors at any campus facility or event, indoors or outdoors. However, we still highly encourage students, staff, and visitors to continue wearing face coverings, especially those that are not vaccinated and those that are higher risk for complications of COVID-19. Face shields will continue to be available at all elementary campuses if the parent chooses for their child to wear them during phonetic instructions and lessons. Social distancing will continue to be monitored. Students' desks will be spaced apart to the greatest extent possible, and directional floor signs will be posted throughout the campus to assist with traffic control. Screenings. For students, parents or guardians will still be required to self-screen their child at home prior to coming to school. If they notice that they have COVID-19 symptoms, they should not be sending their child to school and notify the campus nurse or campus principal. For staff, including substitutes, they will still be required to self-screen at home daily. Additionally, if they present with COVID-19 symptoms or have a fever, they must notify their immediate supervisor or school nurse. For visitors, screenings will still be conducted. They will either have a questionnaire or receive a temperature check prior to entry. We will still continue to limit non-essential visitors to decrease exposure to students and staff. Parents will not be allowed to walk students into the classroom. We will now allow parent volunteers on campus for the 2021-2022 school year, but they will only be limited to participating in a classroom setting, at the campus, in the district family and community engagement center, and all volunteers must be fully vaccinated in order for them to participate. Sneeze guards, which are your plastic shields, we will continue to provide them to all the front office staff. Now we will provide them for all teachers, and all students' desks will also have a desk shield in place. Water fountains are installed at all campuses, and they are hands-free only, and they'll be used to only refill their water bottle. COVID-19 testing, rapid testing will continue to provide COVID-19 rapid tests to eligible students and staff as long as supplies is available from TDEM, and a student or staff member that meets criteria for testing should contact the school nurse for an appointment. We will also try to decrease the congestion in the nurse's office. Minor health problems can be handled in the classroom in order to prevent possible exposure to a child that may have COVID-19. Operations training. Teachers will be provide instructions to students on appropriate hygiene practices such as hand washing and covering their coughs and sneezes. And then all staff must complete online safe schools training. Coordination with state and local health officials. The Mercedes ISD Health Services Department will coordinate with local agencies and organizations to include the Hidalgo Health County Department, the City of Mercedes Emergency Management Coordinator, Mercedes Police and Fire Department, and local medical providers in the community response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Efforts to provide vaccinations to school communities. Mercedes ISD employees have been offered the opportunity to be vaccinated for COVID-19, and we are proud to announce that we have 92% of all staff vaccinated. We have also been able to provide vaccine clinics for students 12 years and older. The Health Services Department will continue to provide opportunities for students and staff during the summer and throughout the school year of 2021-2022. Improving ventilation. Now that research has proven that COVID-19 is mainly transmitted through airborne particles, our biggest concern and mitigation is going to be improving ventilation in schools. Therefore, our maintenance director and his HVAC engineers will be upgrading our air filters and be changing them frequently. And then last, addressing positive cases. Campus nurses will continue to quickly respond to a COVID case and follow procedures as noted on the slide. And then our lastly, which includes our campus closure staging. Mercedes ISD will follow this protocol if needed for campuses to be closed if a COVID-19 individual is identified in a campus. And that's it for maintaining the health and safety. Thank you.
Now, moving on to continuity of services. So we want to make sure that our curriculum, our robust curriculum that we are going to be working on, that we are able to tackle those student expectations that students did not master from one grade level to the next. We want to make sure that those teachers that are teaching those students are provided that planning time, and in order for them to update the curriculum in the coming year for 3 years. And so we want to make sure that as we tie it to the district mission, education organization, providing a versatile and educational experience grounded on the belief that all students can succeed, and adhering to our mission, Mercedes ISD, creating confident, innovative leaders. So we want to make sure we embrace that as we are writing our curriculum to ensure that we recoup that learning loss. So the communication efforts for our superintendent to pass this message out to everyone here and our stakeholders would be superintendent's video message, school messenger, leadership meetings, board meetings, social media, employee emails, local public media outlets, and surveys of 2 ways, as we did start in May when we started the surveys. Additionally, for parents to know what is going on in our district, we want to make sure that they know that they are able to work with, get online with Skyward to look at student attendance, grades, progress reports, assignments not turned in, and so forth, and stay in contact with all their campus principals or teachers as well. The daily schedule for the elementaries will be only offered in person for the 21-22 school year. Middle school will also offer in-person traditional schedule, and the high schools will be following an accelerated schedule of 21-22. Student schedules will be released on the first day of school or maybe the day before through the Skyward system. Bell schedules will be in the campus websites. Meet the Teacher Night for school calendar is as already as followed. On August the 19th, our elementaries will schedule from 4:30 to 6. Our middle schools, August 26th, 5 to 7:30. Mercedes High School, August the 18th, 4:30 to 6. Mercedes Early College Academy, August 31st, 4:30 to 6. And our Mercedes Academic Academy, August the 18th, 4:30 to 6. First day of school for instruction in person, August the 23rd for our students. And we do have a hyperlink of our DEIC approved instructional calendar for 21-22. As far as transportation is concerned, it will be in full capacity, but still assisting, making sure students have all those guidelines so that they will feel safe in there. If there is a case of COVID-19, we do have our transportation director will have a Suburban on standby to pick up the student. Technology has done wonderful job this school year with given the pandemic and making sure all students have a one-to-one device. We will continue with instructional devices for Chromebooks, hotspots, iPads necessary with technical support, as well as teachers. But we all need to make sure that we follow and sign that acceptable use policy. And so Wi-Fi internet service will be available for MISD employees as well as community members, but again, using that acceptable use policy. Student learning for curriculum and instruction, we want to ensure that there is writing across the curriculum. This is how we're going to tackle that learning loss in all the content areas. We want to make sure there's credit recovery tutorials in all schools, from after school, before school, Saturday tutorials, summer school, at every school, to make sure that we recoup all the learning loss for all those students that the USDE is constantly mentioning, whether they're African American, Hispanic, male, female, special ed, or ELLs. Those are very important groups, so we want to make sure that those students are captured immediately. And so, like it says, instructional gaps, again, that is referencing the curriculum, making sure that we align it to cover those gaps where students have, and the direct instructional model will be a combination of whole group, small group, and center-based instruction. Student learning, what you will be able to see as a parent would be blended learning. Teachers will probably most likely continue to use the Google Classroom for turning in assignments, as the surveys indicate per students that they want to be able to submit assignments via Google. That's the trend coming up already, so we're looking into the future. Students will also be given, for finding out where their gaps are, is providing them the Texas Formative Assessment Resource, a taper that the principals would like to administer at the beginning of the year in reading and math. And again, reading and math was captured from the student survey. Teachers and the students, that math and reading is the area that they want to recoup, they want to catch up. We also have district-wide benchmarks. We didn't have very many this past year, so we're looking at those checkpoints to make sure we're monitoring, tracking student progress. And it moves on to, in the event of a school closure, we'll resort back to Google Classroom, the learning management system. So we want to make sure the progress monitoring, that we do use universal screeners for the elementary, the state assessment, and all these reports, we will be able to monitor them through Eduphoria, and be able to export a lot of reports where we will be able to work with principals to help them with those tutorials, extended day tutorials, accelerated instruction, and so forth. The equitable services, students with disabilities, we will follow their IEP. English language learners, we will follow their plan per the LPAC committee, and the LPAC committee will monitor them every 6 and 9 weeks. 9 weeks is at the high school level. And so we want to make sure that the students are meeting those benchmarks so that they can be able to move on to the next level. So we have, MISD will focus on, for the elementary, phonological and phonemic awareness, word recognition, phonemic awareness, and we already have provided you with the universal testing. But reading and math specialists is what we're looking into, that these individuals will be assisting the elementaries with individual and small group instruction, and to meet the specific student needs. Whereas the GT will follow the program goals for GT of MISD. Elementaries will have a pull-out system. Secondary, specific time will be allotted in their schedule. Additional health and safety guidelines for special ed staff, very similar to this past year, making sure it's more than normal. If a student is in need of more specific, it will follow the IEP. And there will be a lot of collaboration between the special ed department, the teachers, and the administration. Social emotional learning is a big one here with the ESSER plan. We want to make sure that our staff is required to complete a mental health screening. That is suicide bullying via the Safe Schools program that we do every year. It's nothing new. It's just an added feature to this plan. MISD will partner with Creative Being to offer mental health training to MISD faculty and staff. Seminars and training documents will provide explaining the support granted on for each employee that experienced COVID-19 or who was positive or diagnosed with COVID-19 and needed to be out of work. So we have teachers will be required to integrate social emotional lesson learning into the lesson plan, and this will be coming in the fall, where we will provide training for our teachers. Campus staff will be provided with mental health guideline books, handbooks. It moves on, again, it revolves around social emotional, equitable, and academically in both learning environments. Resources will be provided for students, then they will be able to utilize them on campus. The Safe Schools Department will collaborate with different entities to provide, again, the same features and one in particular that's new this year is a social emotional retreats to students in need of special mental support. That is a big one right now, and we're excited to roll this out as soon as we get our LPC. And our head counselor will get together with our principals, and we will have a plan. And this is to ensure the students feel a sense of belonging, being that they have been restricted to the home. They're coming back in a social environment to talk, meet with their student friends and be back in a normal setting. So we need to have those supports, and that's very important to our students. because without that, they cannot be academically sane. So we want to make sure we provide those gaps, those trainings. We move on, the counseling department will continue to build positive relationships with all students, and awareness of our differences will be at the forefront of the school counseling program. And we will partner with the campus parent liaison to provide wellness classes for parents. It moves on, and basically the same similar thing, but now we're talking about the second bullet. The MISD LPC associate will be available to students on site that are referred by their school counselor. They will proactively enhance awareness of mental health, promote positive, healthy behaviors. They will also provide students with appraisal and advice addressing their academic, career, social, emotional needs. Provide short-term counseling and crisis intervention focused on mental health or situational concerns such as grief for difficult transitions. If we remember, these students, some have lost both parents and are staying with grandparents. So that group is the one that we do need to identify and make sure that our counseling department is wanting to make sure that these students are provided with the best care possible and being in a very sensitive nature. Provide referrals to school and community resources that treat mental health issues, and it continues on with the intent of removing barriers to learning and helping the student return to the classroom as normal as possible. Then we move on. We want teachers to be educated. Educate the teachers, the administrators, the families, the community stakeholders about again, it goes on to mental health concerns of students, including the recognition of the role environmental factors having causing or mental health issues, and provide resource and information. Because we may be in the post-pandemic, but there will be a lot of environmental factors we have to face. Serve as a mediator, also the LPC, for student to student, student to teacher, and student to family conflicts. And then collaborate with classroom teachers to provide the school counseling curriculum. Student health support, school social workers and counselors will continue to work with staffs to identify and address issues as they arise. The LPC associate will work with at-risk students and students in need of mental support as needed with parental permission. Student retreats will be offered to students needed assistance with mental, emotional, physical health. Nutritional health here, provide all school-age children in MISD. Meals will be provided. And as you know, we had the wheels in bus and wheels, Wheels on Bus, Meals on Bus, something like that, in 2021. But students will be provided with free meals this coming school year. Extracurricular activities are to come back as normal as possible. Again, following CDC guidelines. That would be classroom arrangements, a recess, music, PE, art, library, secondary specialized classrooms and extracurriculars, athletics, on, off-campus activities, field trips, and school-wide events. So our plan, our booklet that we will post online in English and Spanish will have the plans for the athletic department, for the fine arts department. They have everything already written out. And I do want to thank all the different groups that were part of this plan. Human resource will communicate with employees on how to report possible cases of COVID-19. They will monitor staff attendance with the assistance from the campus principals, ensure that all staff understands their employee rights and responsibilities. And then we have human resource with consult with the district head nurse, Ms. Bustamante, for COVID-19 concerns. And at the same time, TA still wants us to report any cases throughout the school year as a monitoring efforts. And so there are protocols teachers will follow, substitutes as well. And then we have staff travel will be allowed, but if there is a country at a level 4, then we do not want those individuals. We recommend highly that they not go unless they're vaccinated. We recommend is the key word. And so we also have the employee rights, 504 accommodations. Section 504 applies to employees with disabilities. These employees must meet Section 504 eligibility criteria. So Section 4 now refers to the opportunity for public comment. We did this on May 17 board workshop. I presented and outlined the ESSER 3 funds. We conducted in-person live stream so that citizens in Mercedes would have the opportunity to listen in. On May the 11th, the survey was posted on the district website for public comment regarding the American Rescue Plan Act. All the different entities were part of the survey, and the survey was open for 2 weeks through May 21st. Section 4 then has the opportunity for public comment. There's additional surveys, May the 25th, and that is what I referred to at the beginning of the presentation for teachers, school leaders, students, and families. Of course, it doesn't end there, because every 6 months we have to review and revise the plan based on the CDC guidelines that were provided by TA or the Texas governor. So it continues revisions, back to the drawing board, back to updating in English and Spanish, back to presenting to the school board of trustees. And so you can see here, making the plan available to the public. And it is called now the 2021-22 Return to In-Person Instruction and Continuity Services Plan. And so anyone that would like a translation, they can contact our Federal Programs Director through that email or by phone call. And at this time, that concludes the presentation. It's a very long presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Castillo.
Thank you.
I have a question, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Castillo. So I noticed there, and I'm glad to see that we're going to do a preliminary assessment of our students prior to them continuing through the school year, because we need to have a baseline to see how they're doing after this time off. When the committee that got together and provided this, who was involved in that committee?
In
There was
this
a
committee?
task force and things like that?
Yes, so the task force, if you go back up to the very, very top on the PowerPoint, we have all the individuals. Keep going up. Almost at the beginning, probably a third or fourth slide.
Is that where it talks about the, well, no, those are MISD subcommittees.
Okay, so the subcommittees for, if you go to the next slide, and I'm surprised it's not there, it should be there. Go to the next one,
Up or down?
up, or I guess.
Who has control?
I don't have it.
I guess you can just explain, Dr. Castillo, if we, maybe that slide is
So
not.
my academic team was all the coordinators, the campus principals. I had the Ms. Gracia, Dr. Rodriguez, Deanne, 504, and then we have Ms. Barrientos. So we had the curriculum department.
Okay.
And so we presented to the principals regarding the taper, all in agreement. When it came to facilities, that was Mr. Herrera with his team, technology, Mr. Handy with his team. And then we had HR continuity, the comprehensive services was Safe Schools and also HR. And so we had the different committees meet at different times. We also have and I'm glad you asked that question, because the USDE and TA, most likely TA, will find a district through a random selection, and they will audit and interview through focus groups, and they want to see where all the communication was done, where your timeline is in. And since April the 28th, we have all the timeline. It's already 4 pages of all the different meetings and the hyperlinks. We also used a website from TA called Resilient Strong Schools, and they have a spreadsheet about how we can develop the plan as far as academics is concerned. So it was a lot of collaboration, communication, and online and in person committee meetings.
So I guess, when will this be communicated over to the teachers, the staff?
Yes,
Is
so
that
once we
upcoming?
start the Leadership Academy, which is the first week of August the 3rd, we will present the return to in-person, the PICS is what it's called, it's an acronym, to the campus principals, and they will in turn present that to their campus faculty and staff, as they did this past year.
However, it needs to be posted on our website, and we will also be informing the staff and our parents, our community, that the in-person instruction is now going to be required by TA. So I'll be sending a notice out soon with regards to that information. But once the plan is needed at this time in order to get the ESSER grant approval, and then once that's approved and we finalize it, making sure that making sure that nothing changes between now and August, because as we know, TEA may come up with more requirements. So therefore, once it's finalized, the plan is to, as Dr. Castillo said, present it to our administrators, and then administrators will present it to the teachers upon their return.
So I just want to make sure that, you know, the staff, the teachers that are the ones that spend the most time with the students are aware of identifying those that may need assistance to be sent to
Yes.
the counseling sessions and so forth.
Yes, definitely.
Because if we just talk about it up here, it doesn't trickle
Right.
down to.
Trickle down.
And I do want to thank all the principals because they did an excellent job. I know when I went to Taylor Elementary and I went to the high school last year, when I spoke with them, they actually had sessions, training sessions with their teachers. I think Mr. Aguirre also spoke with his paraprofessionals where they actually had a session and he had them scribe and present the plan. And so it was a very well-designed plan. So if he did it, you know, the rest, I'm sure they followed suit because they did an excellent job the entire year. So I do want to thank them and recognize them for a great job they did this past year by communicating from us down to the campus where they're right, you know, first target person to the student.
Well, I just want to go ahead and thank you for everybody that was involved in preparing this. I know it's a challenging time, and we're adding more to our already busy workload and dealing with this pandemic. And there was quite a bit of work that was put into this. I just want to make sure that we're, you know, covering everything. It sounds like we are, and I thank you for all the work that you all did.
Thank you, sir. Now with this plan, we'll be able to submit our grant and the plan. Thank you.
And get our money.
I have a quick question. Ms. Vidal, just, I don't know if it's okay with the board if later on, we just, like a follow-up in September and August? how we-
Oh, yes, sir. We'll be following up. We are required to keep the board informed and the public informed as we go through the whole ESSER 3 grant process, because then this is just a very small piece of one of the requirements, but we are going to have to, you know, community meetings and surveys. Well, surveys have been conducted, that they may request more, but we do have to keep the board and the community informed as we go through the process.
Just another comment too, Ms. Vidal. I've been in the business a long time, and kudos to you and your staff. Very professional.
Thank
To
you.
the point. We know we have a mission, so thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I appreciate that. And again, a very good team, very solid team. All the individuals who chaired the different committees made sure that they sent that information down and discussed that information from, you know, from the director to the supervisor to the administrators down to the teachers.
Any other comments from the board before we move forward? Okay. Next, we have the action agenda. We have A, Business Office, Presentation and Discussion on Security Guard Services, RFP number 042121-355.
Chairwoman, I apologize. I know that we have a really strict timeline. Tony, if it's okay, can I interrupt real quick and make a motion, if it's possible, before we go into the other items A1 through A8? Sure. Chairwoman, I apologize. I'd just like to make a motion that we go and executive session, or I'm sorry, let's deviate from the agenda to A8. And it's under my understanding that we have some issues with staff, and I have a lot of questions with legal and Ms. Mendiola, and it's dealing with human resources personnel. And I'm making the motion. And again, and on a side note too, is that again, I believe this is about staff. So I think for next agendas, may I recommend that student staff should be number one, should be at the very top. And I do not apologize for the vendors for the inconvenience, but in my humble opinion, staff should be up there A1. So I made a motion to deviate from the agenda to go in executive session and go to A8 on the action agenda.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Hernandez to deviate and go to executive session for A8. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second from Mr. Howell. Any discussion? So I have to go into a vote? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. This meeting is now in executive session.
Yeah, so the council